All right, people, let's go. Let's head up to Bleak Falls Barrow, get all this started. This is kind of where it all began, at least for me in a way. I don't know about you guys, but in the months or even year or more leading up to the reveal and the release of Skyrim, I was one of those guys Googling Elder Scrolls V every day, looking for any hint or tidbit of anything, you know. Totally cracked out on Oblivion and Fallout 3 for that matter, and then you know, the next Elder Scrolls, I had to have it. I'm the same way about Fallout 4. I'm still Googling it to this day. Any little new thing, you know, kind of sifting out all the rumors to see what's real or not. Good thing for us, Bethesda did an extensive pre-E3 showcase to give us something to tide us over until the game actually is released, and they're not going to make us wait too terribly long. Coincidentally, they're releasing it on the 10th of November, whereas Skyrim was released on the 11th of November, so apparently that's more or less a target date. Hopefully we can begin to count on that, you know, maybe for the Elder Scrolls 6, wherever that's going to take place, elsewhere, or Hammerfell or something like that. Who knows? But whatever the case, maybe we can at least kind of loosely expect it to come out on a November-type date. But I'm in no hurry for that. I'll have Fallout 4 to tide me over, like, forever. Till that rolls around. Learning to become a little more patient, disciplined, waiting on Bethesda games. By force, they're forcing me to be patient, disciplined. I'll tell you what, the wait for any news on Fallout 4 was, it was brutal. They were like ninjas about it, like the CIA or something. They were, geez, every Secret Service organization in the world combined didn't have shit on Bethesda for about the year or two leading up to their actual reveal on Fallout 4. They were, wow, talk about loyalty from their employees, that nobody peeped a legitimate word, anything that you can actually hang your hat on. That says something. I mean, those are some people dedicated to their craft right there, that they were able to. I don't know if I could be, I could, I guess. If I knew it was that special, I could, but it would be hard. There would be times where I'd almost just want to have to say something, but yeah, I guess I could. Considering the scope of what they, if it's even anything even close to what they say it is, and I don't see any reason to believe that it's not, the scope of Fallout 4 is it's ridiculous. I mean, they just keep raising the bar. They don't just raise the bar; they like throw the bar as high as they possibly can and hope it sticks there, and then say, okay, that's the standard for the next game. And it's like, wow. Talk about loving games and loving giving games to people who love games. And man, I'm totally all over that. I will support a developer who keeps giving me that. Anyway, yeah, all right, enough riding Bethesda's nutsack, but anyway. So yeah, the time leading up to this, you know, when we finally did get a reveal, this is where they took us. They took us to Bleak Falls and showed us all the stuff that we could expect. Some cool things without revealing too much of the story. They did basically say that this would be like the first big dungeon you got to. Now, to be fair, in a Bethesda game, honestly, as soon as we left Helgen, we could have just went left instead of right. Screw Rayloff and Riverwood and all that. I want to go explore, and you could wind up in the Reach or the Rift or anywhere, you know, and go do what you want to do. And you don't have to go to Whiterun to your level. I don't know. You don't have to even go meet Girder and Riverwood to your level 50 or something if you feel like it. And they're totally about that. But if you follow the loosely suggested storyline, which is not linear at all, but you know, there's something of a path to follow if you want to. You know, what is it? Riverwood, then Whiterun, or Bleak Falls, then Whiterun, whatever, and then maybe off to Windhelm, and then maybe off to Riften, right? Because if you're in Windhelm, you join the Dark Brotherhood. That sends you to Riften. While you're there, you join the Thieves Guild, and there's kind of a natural progression to where, and they're pretty good about that, is that one quest will kind of lead to others. And there'll be major questline stuff, Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild and stuff. Those are major things, and you naturally get there if you just kind of follow this, you know, the hints and suggestions and stuff. But there's no arrow saying this way or else, you know, you can just do whatever. But anyway, the first major dungeon you would normally come across would be Bleak Falls here. And it's something of a tutorial, and they basically said as much. They said it's big, right? Painstakingly handcrafted. Apparently there was a big bitching issue from some of the community about Oblivion having cut and paste models in their caves and stuff. I personally never experienced it or noticed it. It was never blatant in my face like a Dragon Age 2 was, you know? It was never up front, and honestly, I never paid attention. I guess I wasn't looking for it. I was more concerned with the experience I was having in the places I was at. And I remember, like, the Aeolid ruins in Oblivion, they all seemed different to me. Some of them were huge, some of them were small, but none of them really looked the same, except for the glowing crystals, and, you know, the architecture and the art style was obviously very Aeolid, but they all seemed different as far as I was concerned. And the caves all seem roughly different. I mean, a cave is a cave. It's a hole in the ground, or in the hole in the side of a hill or something. I mean, I don't know, there's only so much you can do with that, but whatever. And even a lot of those seemed different. Some of them had big open caverns where stuff was going on. Others were just tight, cramped tunnels leading to the next tunnel. And I don't know. I don't recall that. It was never an issue with me in any 0% attention paid to that type of stuff in Oblivion. But apparently some people had an issue with that, so they were like, okay, Bethesda, I guess, took that personally or something, and so they like painstakingly crafted every square inch of Skyrim. And apparently that's where a lot of their development effort went into, was creating the world inch by inch, foot by foot, to where everything was a little different. And to me, honestly, there is something more of walking into the same old thing in Skyrim than there was Oblivion. In all their effort to make it different, there's only so many Draugr crypts you can go into where you say, haven't I been here 100 times already? You know, that's not a complaint, it's just an observation. It's just, you know, hey, there is a lot of more of the same in Skyrim, more so than there was in Oblivion. In Oblivion, each cave, each building held something different. It not only held its own story, it held its own unique set of enemies or theme, you know, whatever. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. 6 of one, half dozen of another. Bottom line is they kept the whole atmosphere the same in Skyrim, to me. The whole rustic, cold, you almost want to shiver just all the time, you know? It's like that bone-aching cold, rough, brutal, unforgiving, you know? Either it's gonna make you or break you, type of thing. And that whole feel really comes across here. But then it's counterbalanced with the beauty of the music and the wild animals running around, and the flowing streams, obviously just melted from an ice cap uphill. You know, this type of stuff. I mean, they got that. They did it. Say what you want about some of the little graphical elements, and I've done my little share of complaining. Not much, but a little bit. Like, you know, okay, the shadows and stuff. There's some things that could do some work. The fact that you can walk up to a wall in first person and you can see it blur and pixelate in front of your eyes, and it's like, well, that kind of sucks. I'd like a little more attention to detail than that, especially considering Mr. Howard specifically said if you walk to up to a leaf on a bush, the closer you get to it, the more detailed it gets. Well, that's actually just not true. The closer you get to it, the more blurred it gets, until you realize that it looks worse up close than it did from 10 feet away. There is that, but in a world where you've meticulously designed each individual bush and each individual thing, I mean, what can you expect? And it is console, you know. I'm sure that you PC guys with your uber super realistic mods and stuff like that have gotten to the point where if you look at a pebble, you can see each grain of dirt that makes up that pebble, type of thing. I mean, you know, I get it. So once again, not missing the forest for the trees. All the details, flawed or not, adding up, make one beautiful picture. And to me, there's no denying that. To say otherwise would just be to say I don't like Skyrim. And I honestly cannot recall a single person ever saying that. I don't think I've ever heard a person ever say that. I don't like Skyrim. Anyway. You know, since we are going to be venturing here and just basically mindlessly running around beating up bandits and then maybe eventually beating up some Draugr, something I'd like to talk about, something that came up on one of the forums I was with, and it's interesting. I don't know how to really give my perspective on this without just getting all off into issues, and they stem from small issues all the way to big political, nationwide, even global issues. So trying not to step all off into those dirty waters. The topic came up of, would you play Skyrim without mods? All right. Well, how does that lead to anything? Let's think about it. All right. The question to me, well, being a console player and never being a PC player, don't ever really plan on it. I'm happy without mods. For those that have to have them, you're basically spoiled to them, and that's how you play. Well, I mean, I get it, and that's great. The mods are there for you. And there's no modding community like the Elder Scrolls modding community, or maybe the Fallout modding community, and they're out of control. They will make a mod for everything, you know. Basically, they'll make a mod if you tell them they can't. They'll do it just to prove you wrong. I mean, they don't even need any instigation to make mods. But everything from clothes and armor and weapons to modes in the game to lighting and graphic effects, which are amazing, and then even DLC stuff. Like there's people who have designed entire new quests and quest lines, and then mansions and buildings and stuff you can explore and even make for yourself, and own housing and tree houses. I mean, it's just, the list just goes on forever. I couldn't cover it in 10 hours, right? But all that stuff, and I'm like, would I play without them? Well, I have been, so obviously I can say yeah, but then the flip side of that coin is, would I play with them? And I've always been one to say that the mods that give you God mode, the mods that enhance your gear or your stuff to give you an unfair advantage, that break the mechanics of the game the way they're designed, that unbalance the game, well, no, because I consider that cheating. And you know, if someone wants to play like that, you know, it's their $60, their game, the privacy of their home. Do what you want to do. And if you make that mod and somebody else wants to use it, well, they're going to download it, right? And if you didn't make it, well, they would wind up making it and still downloading it. Bottom line is, they're going to port it into their game if that's what they want to play with. And each to their own. Me personally, I can only speak for myself, and this isn't to say because I do it, somebody else is wrong for it. It's not even that kind of thing. It's just simply, what would I do and not do? There are some skin mods, both armor and weapons, that I've seen that look so badass, and some of them are even really lore friendly. Like, they take the whole Skyrim theme and they just create some new stuff, and some of it's really sexy, and then some of it's just badass looking, and some of it's just a combination of the two. Like, let's say, who is it, Mafala? It's Mafala, right? The whole ebony blade thing. She spins the web. She's kind of symbolized as a spider. I mean, I don't think anyone's actually specifically seen her, but spiders are kind of symbolic of Mafala, I believe. She spins the webs of lies and deceit. I believe that's the right Daedric prince that I'm talking about. Anyway, Mafala, when you think of him or her, you think of, like, spiders and that whole thing. Well, I've seen spider-ish looking, with everything from the webbing to the chitin that they would have, you know, as their shell type thing. I mean, just cool stuff. It just looks badass, and whether it's revealing or not really isn't so much the point, right? And then that got off into another issue, the whole thing of revealing. And this brings it up, and this is a sore point with me, actually, is Oblivion, and Skyrim for that matter. And I don't know what rating Morrowind had, right? But I know Oblivion got an M rating, and from what I read, right, and I can only assume this is true based on the evidence, is that Oblivion got an M rating specifically because of the skins that were already in place in the game that console users had no access to, but PC guys could have access to. And basically, if you wanted, say, a gasp, shock, everyone act all mock offended, if you wanted to make your character naked, you could just take the clothes off your character. The naked body form was already there. It was already in place. And then as far as the body model itself, you could change that. You could, oh my goodness, make the boobs bigger, or put on a bigger butt, or give your guy bigger junk, or whatever you guys and girls wanted to do with your characters in the privacy of your own home. And they moderated that and rated the game M because of what was there, and you don't have access to it unless you specifically go in and modify or change the game, right? Well, I think that the ratings board went out of bounds, and I think that's now you're getting into totalitarian type stuff. Now you're getting into police state type stuff. Now you're getting into invading your home type stuff. Whereas, first of all, if the modding community can't do it, then they're gonna do it. That's the bottom line. And if you tell them they can't, then they're gonna do it twice, with you know, flying both pigeons at you, giving you the big FU from both fingers, right? Telling you, yeah, tell me what I can't do in my house with my shit. Right? I paid my $60 for this. I can do with it what I want. I got a computer and I got my game, and I can do it. I will do it. All right? And as long as it's not public, there's nothing anyone public should say about it. And the ratings board is to quote unquote, huge sarcastic quotes on this, protect public decency. Okay, well, public decency doesn't make the porn industry the biggest industry in the world. Okay, sorry. All right, that's private indecency, but the bottom line is all these people that act uber shocked at the sight of a nipple or a pubic hair or some labia or some guy's junk or this or that or blah blah or whatever else a baby is born with. Sorry, that's the facts. You could put an M rating on a game that doesn't show nudity, then I guess you got to put M ratings on newborn infants because they're naked. Okay, sorry, that's now you're leaning towards insanity. Now you're leaning towards being mock offended on a level that smacks of more than just immaturity. Smacks of more than just being uber shocked at something that makes you uncomfortable based on your insecurities. Okay, and I'll lump up the whole ratings board in that as it's just in a nutshell. Bottom line is, if you have a game where someone's able to do various things, including have everyone in their game in the privacy of their home that they're playing in a single person perspective, this isn't even a co-op game. All right. Now, in a World of Warcraft where you can make your character butt naked lying on the ground with their legs spread or something like that, okay, and it's community and you do that just to offend, then you're violating the spirit of that rule, okay, in that intentionally offending somebody. If you're going to say, well, since I have a right to be naked because I was born that way, I'm going to go sit in a diner with my junk hanging out eating my hamburger and nobody else around me is allowed to be offended or made uncomfortable by that because I have a right to do that because it's natural. No, you're intentionally offending. Okay, you're doing something just to make a statement. Okay, now you're violating the spirit of that law or that standard. All right, that social standard, right? But if you're in the privacy of your own home, if you're sitting there with your junk hanging out, playing your game with a bunch of naked video game, if that's what you want to do, you paid for that. You know what? If that's what you want to do, it's what you're going to do, whether someone says you can or can't anyway. Okay, so if you are a teenager who's obsessed with penises and vaginas, all right, and you're going to sit at home and you have the ability to, the means through a computer, one way or another, to mod your game in such a way as to sit there and be able to look at pixelated penises and vaginas all day, that's what you're going to do. Even if the rating is E for everyone, doesn't matter. You're going to do that regardless. Okay, so the rating is just bullshit. It's useless. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time as far as that goes. I understanding putting a standard for a game to warn parents, right? But when an unmodified version of a game doesn't have anything above an E or a T rating, don't give it an M rating just based on what people might do with it, which they're going to damn well do with it if they can, and if they can't, they're going to do it anyway. They'll find a way. You got enough computer hackers out there, they're going to figure out something to do. What I understand, one really hard game to mod is Dragon Age Inquisition. But if people want to see, I don't know, Miss Pentagast running around butt naked, they're going to find a way to do it. That's what they want to do. You can call them what you want. It's not going to stop them, right? And no ratings are going to stop them either, right? Well, true enough, Inquisition had enough of a sexual and mature theme overriding the top of it where I guess it's somewhat justified an M rating. Okay, this is not necessarily for the kiddies. It's got mature themes. But Oblivion, T maybe. M, I just not seeing it. Anyway, I think it's bullshit that they gave the rating to that game based on what could be done with it. Well, shit, if that's the case, rate everything M. Go rate all. In fact, restrict everybody walking out on the street because at some point in their life they were naked, or they will be naked. They might undress. They might even commit a sex act with somebody. Can't have that. Oh my God. We must restrict everybody. And where does it end? Where does it stop? So yeah, it's kind of a sore point because when I think about it from just a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense. It's just bullshit. It's intruding. It's trespassing into these people's stuff. Anyway. All off on that while I'm sitting here trying to explore. Notice this hidden chest off in the webs here. But, I mean, I'm all for public decency, but at the same point, I also believe that there's a line to be drawn, between public and private. And what somebody's doing or what can and they will do in their house. If Bethesda wants to just make it easier for someone to do what they're going to do anyway, then what's wrong with that? It allows for player choice. And, honestly, if somebody decides to do something actually just horribly perverted with their game, it's because the game gives you tools. What someone does with those tools, it's like a gun doesn't shoot people shoot people, right? It's the same bullshit with the gun laws. You think by restricting guns, well, first of all, the criminals don't give a fuck about your gun laws. They're gonna have guns anyway, and they're the ones shooting people. So if you want to stop that, stop the shooters, not the things they shoot with. And if they don't have any guns, well, they're going to use a knife or a baseball bat or a broken bottle or anything they can get their hands on, because people who want to do that shit are going to do it regardless. No different here. is what somebody does with something is totally on that person. And when you get to regulating that person, now you're talking about police state type stuff. So it's a violation of rights across the board. It's just bullshit. And that really is in the spirit of the letter, the spirit of the law. It really is to not regulate some things that are in the private sector. Anyway, like I say, that gets off into morals and politics and everything else. But it's still a point to be made. Anyway. I think the spider counts as a lesser soul, and I think I have a lesser soul gem. There we go. Start filling these, and keep this in mind for crafting. Every soul gem I have is a ring or a dagger or some piece of crap that can be enchanted and then sold for a lot more, and develop my enchanting skills real quick and all that good stuff. Try to kind of keep that in mind as I run around. Hopefully with all this fancy enchanted stuff, I can sell it to get enough money to get some common or better soul gems to actually make weapons and things that I can use and that Uthgerd can use. Give her a weapon that actually does a little damage so she can kind of do her part. Maybe find a blocking enchantment and enchant her shield with that, make her even more effective. At least she'll be taking a little less damage as far as that goes.
Help me! Help! You did it. You killed it. Now cut me down before anything else shows up. Yes,
yeah, I'll cut you down, all right.
Works. The claw, the markings, the door in the Hall of Stories. I know how they all fit together. Help me down and I'll show you. You won't believe the power the Nords have hidden there.
Well, I may not help you down, but I'm going to cut you down.
Breath of Arcade, thank you.
I don't think this is what you had in mind when you asked for my help, though. See, I already know the way this story ends, so we'll go ahead and save ourselves a little footwork right there. You little snaky bastard. He done ditched the rest of his bandit buddies to come get the stuff for himself. Imagine that. Greedy people. Who would have thought? Okay, so also with this bandit here, this is basically be the end of bandit territory. And now we're going to get into whatever else this dungeon has to offer. I think that's pretty cool. This is as far as the bandits could get. Yeah, now you can examine each individual item in your inventory. I think that's actually really cool. It is a cool feature. That these guys would go through so much trouble to throw something like that into their game. You know, making that available to you just because you might want to do it. Not that you do, not that you spend all day looking at all your stuff in your inventory, but if you felt like it, you could. And so as long as the option is there, it just shows me they take a lot of care in thinking about what gamers might want and what might be fun for us to do, and then trying to give that to us. And like I said, man, I think they took that to a whole new level on Fallout 4.
Trouble ahead.
They're basically out of control. I don't know if they did too much. We'll see how it works. But some of the stuff that they have in there, wow. I see a lot of bug potential, if you ask me. If they can get it working at least half-ass, man, it's going to be amazing.
That the best you can do?
Okay, so these crypts right here, these are really good opportunities to
Kill you.
build up your sneak. And even one-handed, or archery, or whatever. But yeah, I guess the damage you do while you're sneaking count towards your sneak. Because there are points where we'll get up and sneak attack some of these sleeping Draugr and get almost an entire sneak point, if not an entire sneak point, just from the sneak attack. And I'm like, this is more dealing damage than it is sneak. So apparently the damage you deal while in sneak, something to keep in mind for you dagger users. Considering you're going to do about 15 times more damage at a certain point while in sneak. How to level really fast. Sneak is one of the first skills I'll wind up getting to 100, I'm sure. Sneak and one-handed. One thing about this difficulty is you're required to do so much extra damage just to kill something that your primary combat skill is going to go up faster just because of that. is all the damage you do accredits towards that particular skill line, whether it be one-handed, two-handed, magic, whatever. And so, I mean, I believe it even works like that with like destruction magic. The amount of damage you do, which keeping that in mind, destruction is actually one of the slowest skills to develop. The amount of damage you do dictates how quickly it levels up, and so apparently the damage also counts towards sneak also. I think you have to be successfully sneaking though, obviously. You know, like, watch this. I wouldn't doubt I get a point right here. Yeah, that's crazy. That's what I'm talking about. And another one-handed too.
Come on. You put up a fight.
Yeah, well, weapon recharge is something you get when you enchant something with petty gems. Totally useless. See, anything below a common gem is isn't good for anything but just making a little extra money. Well, I guess theoretically you could use a lot of petty gems to recharge a weapon that you have enchanted with a bigger gem. I guess there is that. But even then, it takes a bunch of those just to do that. I'd much rather just make stuff I can sell. I think we have something shooting at us. Well, important things first. Let me grab all this gold. I think we have a draugr down here with a bow. There we go.
Put up a fight.
Quite a bit of pounding he had to take, considering he can probably two-shot me. Alright, it's just going to be a bit more of that. Still got a ways to go. Yeah, like they were saying, it's something of a tutorial area. Let's see if I can have a point here. See, that's what I'm talking about. But am I one-handed again? Yeah, see that shield bashing? That's where Uthgerd shines. As long as she's got stamina, she's gonna bust them in their face with the shield. Forget the damage it does. As long as they're staggered, they're not attacking. And that helps her and helps me. Anyway, yeah, they were saying it was a tutorial area. Okay, so you get bandits, you get puzzles, you get trapdoors, you get the swinging blade traps here. So I mean, there's I think literally just about one of everything in this. Chest to loot. Most important part, right? Assuming you can get it open. There we go. Alright, another beautiful thing about this difficulty is traps actually matter. They actually do some damage. I believe they scale damage-wise the same as the enemies do. In terms of a trap, which on maybe normal difficulty, you know, the poison darts that, honestly, you heal faster than the poison hits you, basically, right? Well, on this, you'll actually see your health go down. And those swinging blades get caught in there, and yeah, you can die. I mean, you actually can die. And I like that. I like that, actually. It makes the traps actually worth avoiding. You know those games where, you know, once you get strong enough, you can just walk through landmines and bear traps and what have you. I guess there'll probably be a point much later in the game where, you know, maybe they won't one or two shot you, but right now, I think that blade trap, I don't know if the first swing would kill me, but I believe the second one's guaranteed. And so, that's cool, you know, that you actually have to navigate that trap. And you can turn the traps on them, also. I think that's also very cool. Sorry about that, Uthgerd. You alright? Uthgerd, you're smoking. Yeah, Uthgerd, you may have a kind of a hard name and a hard face, but doesn't get any cooler than her, though. Say that. Doing pretty good about keeping the bow and the one-handed kind of even.
Think I'm afraid of you?
Oops. Wait till we get enough stamina pool to just sit there and spam power attacks. So there. Alright. Okay, well that's this cave cleared out. Let's see. Not sure how much farther we have to go. Seems like there's a cavern type area we still have to navigate, and then some more crypt stuff. Yeah, this is a pretty big dungeon. Alright, now I'm gonna recharge that just so I can fill some more gems. Although I'm getting rid of one gem to fill another, I may just be defeating the whole purpose. Or I could be smart and actually cast the Soul Trap spell itself. Of course, that would be smart, so can't have that. Actually, making some progress on my conjuration skill would probably be smart anyway. But like I said, if it's smart, well, can't do that.
That's all you got? I will destroy you.
That's right. Stagger his ass. There we go. That's probably a lesser soul there, too. Bigger the gem, the more the money. Yes, sir. Yeah, isn't this cool? I mean, they worked it in so well here, that not thinking about it, but if you stop and look, okay, besides the fact you have, like, you know, crafting stuff and stuff that you can grab here, few new things that introduces us to. Okay, we had the one where you had to turn those blocks a certain way to get the particular images that you want to open the door without getting poison darts shot in your face, right? There's the first one where we fought that bandit thug. And then you had traps to navigate. You had the swinging door to avoid with the floor trap thing. The hanging lanterns as fire traps with the oil on the floor that you could kind of do a damage over time type thing with. bandits, one kind of enemy, and then the Draugr themselves get used to another kind of enemy. The fact that they may pop up out of any nearby casket or burial thing. Of course, chests and loot and stuff. The hidden chain pulley thingies to open doors and stuff. That one was right next to the door, but sometimes you actually have to look for them a little bit. But just kind of acquainting you with all the different aspects of exploring and stuff. And they just threw it all together in one dungeon. I mean, pretty well done considering while you're playing through it, it's just like, well, you're just playing. You don't really realize you're being led through a tutorial. And the best games do that. You're getting taught without it feeling like school, you know? And that's amazing. Any of you who remember from school, the best teachers and the best classes you had were the teachers who didn't make it work. They made it not necessarily fun, but at least interesting and engaging. But most of the time, fun also. Those are the ones. Yeah, it's not work if you enjoy it. So, and the best job in the world to have is one that you enjoy doing. So you don't mind, you know, getting up and doing the 9 to 5 every day. Kind of like doing this, YouTube videos for you guys. Well, I not only is gaming just like, well, basically my life, I admit it, but I enjoy it. It's fun making the videos, and it's fun sharing the passion and talking about what's interesting and observations you make and the things that the games bring up and all the cool stuff that just the gaming brings out that you really just don't find anywhere else, right? At least not for me, right? Kind of find a home here. Enjoy it. And so it's not usually work. Sometimes when the editing software goes to acting funky and YouTube, well, you know, there are technical issues at times. I admit it sometimes, but overall, man, it's fun. It's work. Sometimes 16, 20-hour days, believe it or not, in editing and re-editing and refiguring stuff and losing footage and having to there's been a couple times where in a video I just lost entire portions of clips. Obviously the computer's fault, couldn't possibly be my fault, right? But stuff like that, and just sometimes console problems like a frame rate drop or lag or freezing or something like that, and having to replay maybe an hour worth of stuff, not having a recent save point, having to redo an entire thing, do the same video 3 or 4 times over, sitting here trying to narrate and wind up sneezing and coughing and farting and whatever other things that I don't want to share with you guys and stuff, and having to edit that out or start completely over, be at the end and realize I didn't really say what I wanted to say, and just completely redo the whole thing and all that kind of stuff. But it's fun, you know? It's fun. It doesn't really seem like work. Sometimes 10, 12 hours later, I'll realize, oh my God, I've been editing all this time. You know, it's like the next morning, you know? And it's gone from light to dark to light again outside, and yeah, it's cool. Okay, this guy. I remember he gave me the blues because I came in like Rambo. You know, I'm like, I got this far. I can walk through this crap. It's nothing, right? This guy tore my ass up with his 2-handed weapon. I think he 2-shotted me. And I wasn't even. I think I was just playing on just. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm trying to remember what my very first playthrough of Skyrim was. I think it was... what's the one right under Master? I think you got Normal, then you've got... Is it Adept? No, let's see. It's Novice, then Apprentice, then Adept is Normal, right? Then Expert? Expert, I think was on Expert. Anyway, yeah, but that guy, he gave me the blues. First time through, he taught me a lesson. Don't go John Rambo unless you are John Rambo, right? Yeah, he showed me who the real Chuck Norris was right there. All right, I think I was gonna say we're almost there. Maybe not. I do want that. Let's see. Insightful is what I really want. Let's see. Okay. I believe it used to be where if you went to the top, up the middle of the enchantment tree, you could go back down and you could get, what was it, the last one? Lightning? But now I think to get to cold and lightning, you have to spend that first point in fire. cold and lightning have more, I guess you could say, tactical use. Fire is damage, then some damage over time. Which is cool, just as far as dealing damage goes. And I'll probably settle on that, but a lot of your dragons are fire-based, and it doesn't hurt them whatsoever. All they feel is the base damage from your weapon. You have some that frost. I think, honestly, the frost dragons are the worst, because they slow you and do just as much, if not more damage than the fire dragons do, in my opinion. I'm trying to recall a lightning dragon. I don't think I have ever run into a lightning dragon. I may be lying about that, but I don't think so. I don't think I've seen a lightning dragon. Specifically. Huh. Interesting. Wonder why not. I don't know. Lightning's good because it drains targets of magicka. Although, on this difficulty, enemies have such a large magicka pool when you run into enemy mages. Enemy mages are no joke on Legendary. That's one thing that they made them a little OP'd, actually. It makes it really, really tedious when you're trying to get the Sanguine Rose, also. And the whole Sam Gwyn quests. Sanguine Daedric artifact. There's some mages you run into right at the end there before you actually get into the little valley where you actually get your staff. Oh man, one of them's just brutal. He's like always going to be like 10 levels higher than you, and it's nasty, man. One-shots you with everything he does. It's going to be tedious. I almost want to avoid that quest just for that one dude. But anyway, the magicka damage you do isn't really significant enough to drain an enemy caster of any worth of its magicka. I mean, honestly, not that I've found. But pretty much everything but a Storm Atronach is susceptible to lightning damage. I don't think anyone's really resistant or immune to it. Storm Atronach and maybe one or maybe I don't know. I think that's it. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, anyway. And there's some enemies that are completely resistant or immune to cold. It seems like the Draugr are immune to cold. Is that right? Maybe not. Who's immune to cold? Frostbite spiders, probably. Trying to think. But you're going to have many enemies that are weak to it also, like a fire-based dragon, flame atronachs, stuff like that, are going to be weak to cold. So, it does have its advantages. And it does slow enemies down. Sometimes if you're facing like bandit thugs and stuff like that, it's nice to be able to freeze them in their tracks a little bit. So you can run away. Alright, people. This is what this dungeon has led to. Of course, we know it's going to be basically boss battle time, right? Okay, I love this part right here. This is really cool. No one's been here in a while.
Don't see that every day.
Isn't that right? No, you don't see this every day. Very well done. All right. Good deal. Free shout. I'll take it. Everyone needs a little foos in their life, right? Wait till I start rodaing some people off of cliffs. Okay, this dude, we'll see what shout he's using. I think it varies. It may not. He may have one set shout, but okay, well, he's probably one or two shot me. Oh, he's disarmed. Okay. Bitch. Got something for you. Oh wow, this dude's stout. He's taking very little damage. Look at that. Like I said, he could probably one or two shot me, even with that little Nordic sword that he's using. Those things are no joke in the hands of the right Draugr. Alright, well, Uthgerd's handling up right now. Oh, it disarmed her. Wow. Okay, some of the Draugrs, when they shout, it sounds really cool. It really does. I'll give it to them. They may be annoying as hell as when they knock your favorite sword out of your hand and you can't find it. That may make you want to raise them back up and kill them again, but they sound really cool when they're doing it. And we level again. Leveling comes fast and furious early on in the game. It really does. Yeah, lay down, you big old bitch. And you know what? Wow. You remember I bought that one dagger with the frost enchantment way back when in Riverwood. Okay? And it was a good deal. It was only like 200 gold, right? So it really didn't lose much. But if I'd have thought about it, this dude always drops a frost weapon. Every time.
What do you need to take?
Well, I don't need to take anything. I need to give you your sword back. You know, the one that he knocked out of your hand? It's one thing is your followers will not pick their stuff back up. At least I've never seen it.
Lead on then.
It's so cool, man. Alright, give me the good stuff. Oh, what? Okay. Oh, this is nice. Okay, that's lucky. Oh, look at that. Oh, I love you. I love you. I'll be breaking that down, putting stamina on my stuff.
Touches the beacon. Listen, hear me and obey. A foul darkness has seeped into my temple. A darkness that you will destroy. Return my beacon to Mount Kilcreath. And I will make you the instrument of my cleansing light.
Alright. Good news, we just started the Meridia quest. And that is random. That couldn't have popped up in any master chest, basically anywhere. A lot of times in random caves and stuff like that. Named areas, you know. But in this case, we got it early. It's happened before. I've gotten it out of that chest before. And that's nice. Bad news is we have to carry that with our in our inventory until we do this, and it's I think it weighs a half a unit or a whole unit. So that's stuck. But that's fine. It's worth it. We won't be seeing Kilcreath until we get up near Solitude, though. It's going to be a while for that. Alright, Uthgerd faithfully waiting down below, wondering where the hell I've been. Okay, good thing about exiting right here is we're not only right near a one of the standing stones, so if you're going for the trophy or achievement for finding all the standing stones, or a certain number of standing stones, or whatever it is. From what I understand, you can rediscover on several characters the same standing stones over and over again, and once you reach a certain number, the achievement unlocks anyway. I guess it's like a bug or something, I don't know. But if you're going to find all of them, there's one right out here in the middle of the lake. We'll see it here in a second. I need to go to the right where I'm at now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go unlock this sunken tower, because this is part of Azura's Star quest. And so now I can just fast travel here later. Very convenient. It's just something I always do. I'm like, you know, go ahead and get a step out of the way. So for later when I come back here, Azura's Star is something I really like to grab. It's a refillable soul gem, essentially. I don't ever go with the Black Star route, because I don't like the dude getting his hands on the star who sympathizes with the guy who killed all those people. Well, anyway, I'd have to get off into spoiling that whole story to say why I didn't like it. But anyway, I just go with the regular star. If I need black soul gems, later on in the game, they're going to be plentiful enough to where I don't have to worry about it. Go to Blackreach, and I'm assuming you can still mine for soul gems from those geode ore veins, and at least you used to be able to. Regardless, Centurions tend to drop them. A lot of high-level casters, mages, will drop them. Stuff like that, so I have no need for that. Sadly enough, I kill more creatures than people. Sometimes the people deserve it more in this game, but there you have it. And I think there's a chest right up here too. Actually, unlocking this is great for later for the Hercene quest also, because he sends you to a cave that's literally, uh-oh. Okay. Difference between legendary and other difficulties? Those mud crabs aren't playing around. They mean business. Mud crabs are like, bitch, weren't you the one poking me with that stupid iron sword back in Oblivion? I ain't forgot. They will get dead on your ass. Even skeevers, man. Remember that skeever almost killed me in one of the earlier videos. He just started jumping on my face. Oh, and a pack of wolves? Get 3 or 4 wolves on you, you're dead. Yeah, can't take them down real quick, you're dead. Yeah, I like that. I mean, now, true enough, when I have to pound on one enemy for 10 minutes, he only has to hit me twice. That gets a little annoying. It's a little off-balanced, but overall, these dangerous wild creatures that actually need to be taken seriously, I'm kind of cool with that, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I remember that chest being there. Okay, and Hercene's cave is literally just a little bit north of me. It's right on the other side of that little mountain ridge, and you can walk there from that sunken tower. So
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard. Vampire hunters.
It's good to have that unlocked for both those Daedric quests. All right, let's go return this golden claw. And what I'm probably going to do is sell some of the stuff that I can right here, and what have you, and then maybe even do a little smithing here, and then I'm going to head back to town. So we'll probably meet up again in Whiterun.
From Luke and Valerius.
You found it.
There it is. Strange. It seems smaller than I remember. Funny thing, huh? I'm gonna put this back where it belongs. I'll never forget this. You've done a great thing for me and my sister.
All right, I'm not sure how that was such a magnanimous deed on my part, but what have you. I'll take the money. Appreciate that. All right, like I said, I'm going to do some trading, then I'll wind up going and doing some smithing stuff. We'll meet back up in Whiterun, and then we'll see where we're going to go from there. All right, probably go kill us a dragon. What do you think? All right, got to go return the Dragonstone too. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. For the rest of this Let's Play, click that image there in the middle, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.